Unleash. Are you listening? Can you hear me? This is Unleash. Are you listening? Can you hear me? This is Unleash. Are you listening? Can you hear me? This is Unleash. Are you listening? Can you hear me?
With your host, Brandon Tierney. In 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everybody. What's happening? Welcome back to BT Unleashed. The party slows down a little bit, but the celebration will pick back up in earnest on Thursday with the parade. We've got some non-Knicks stuff today, but we're going to start the Knicks here. J-Rod, what you like the Ewing jersey there? Yeah, show my boys some love.
It looks great. It looks great. I think, great time to do it. Great time to put it there. Maybe you need to get a Brunson up there as well.
Yeah,
get something like that. But listen, the Ewing is just as beautiful.
Yeah, Daddy's going shopping really soon. Daddy's gonna, I've already got my eyes on this. I remember when Aaron Judge, broke the home run mark. I'm talking about non-steroid home run mark a couple of years ago. They came out with this commemorative bat, like it's a gold bat. And it's really, really nice with, the numbers and the stats and some other things on there. And I've got that in the man cave. And I've already got I've got my eye on this one basketball. Have you seen the gold Knick basketball?
I have not seen it yet.
Oh,
no. Okay,
champions, Knicks. I mean, that's going to have to go right over there. But I had to show Pat some love. Jen actually wore the Ewing jersey the other night during the game.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because it doesn't fit me. It doesn't fit me.
It's too small.
It's a little small. It's a large, right? I forget who got it for me. Somebody gave me that. Who the heck was that? I feel like within the last year or two, I haven't really been a jersey guy for a long time. But if you can't bust out a jersey after a championship, what are we doing? Yeah. What are we doing? And the Knicks just keep on trucking. I mean, yesterday was an interesting day. Mikal Bridges, getting one on Instagram Live. He was all over the map. That was outstanding. Jimmy Fallon was great. Mike Brown has cracked me up with this "who let the dogs out" stuff. Did you see this last night when Cat? And you saw it, right? With Cat and Brunson are up there. The whole team was introduced, first of all, right? Mm-hmm. At one point, Spike was out there, and then the Knicks came out from behind the curtain. And then at one point, they transitioned to a bunch of stuff, a bunch of bits, and it was Jimmy, and it was Brunson and Cat and Mike Brown. Mm-hmm. And I think Jimmy asked him about the, what was going on with that "who let the dogs" chant out there, buddy. And he started doing it again.
Oh, my God.
And you just see Brunson's like this and Cat's laughing. But the origin of it's actually really cool. It's not just because he's and he doesn't know any new songs. Yeah. I guess when he was coaching his daughter, I think he said she was 7, if I got that right. I was watching it this morning when I was doing a bunch of stuff. He would start, maybe their team, I think their team name was the Dogs, I think. I think for soccer, something like that. And he's just like, all right, hands together. Hey, who let this guy? It just cracks me up. Funny. It's like, I don't know why that makes me laugh so much. I just find that really, probably because I can relate to it. I'm stuck in my musical time warp, as you know.
When I think about it, I almost think about me being a kid, because when you're a kid, and this is why I can almost relate to the Knicks players like Jalen Brunson, like, he's obviously a little older than me, but when you're a kid, that's one of the first songs that you ever will hear your dad sing easily. It's just such a notable track. Oh, for me, that's 100% one of the first.
Well, because it's a stadium anthem. You get this at all the stadiums.
Yep.
I think it was the Mets song during one of their runs. I'm pretty sure. Now, who's that? The Mamba. Who sings that? The Mamba Boys, the Bomba Boys.
Because I'm pretty sure. Baha Men.
Yeah, Baha. There you go. I'm pretty sure that they performed live at would that have been Shea, or that would have been that would have been City. Wait, what year did that song come out?
Who Let the Dogs Out? It would have been 2000.
Yeah, so that was obviously still Shea. And the Baja Boys actually, they performed at Shea for that. So that was like the Mets anthem. They didn't win. That may have been the year that they lost to the Yankees in the Subway Series. Yeah, it would have been, because that was 2000. Yankees won. The song came out in 2000. All right, we got a lot to get to. Hopefully everybody's doing well, recovering a little bit. I feel like these allergies are finally leaving me. Not fully, but getting there. All right, Jay, let's rock it, buddy. Today's show is brought to you by my friends at Sullivan, Papain. You can find them online at triallaw1.com. That's triallaw1.com. Remember the name Sullivan, Papain, and by Premio Sausage, the way sausage should be. Find them at premiofoods.com or in your local grocery store. Now, before we get into a little bit more of the content here, Jay and I were just trying to figure this out. There is a very, if I had to throw a number at it, what, 85, 90% chance that J-Rod's going to be at the parade? Or is that kind of
I'd
the
say
neighborhood?
85, 90% chance is really the ballpark, right?
All right, I love it, man. You and I will have to work through some logistics, which we definitely will. But he was telling me before we came on that he's going to go and invest in a little microphone and be my man on the street. That's going to be.
Sir.
Don't get swallowed out there, buddy.
Oh my gosh. No, I mean, I'm going to have to find, this is going to be the most packed event, I think, in one of the most crowded events in human history. I would have to imagine.
That's some statement. Wow.
I mean,
human history.
You're thinking 3 million people within a one street radius. Obviously, it's, it spans multiple streets. Sorry, one block radius.
I know what you're saying. Yep.
It is going to be absolutely swamped. I cannot wait. I cannot.
Okay,
wait.
so that'll be on Thursday, and we'll figure out. I think we'll still go on at 10. The parade's at 10.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll figure that out. And then the other thing I'm trying to hammer, I was still going with Sal yesterday, trying to figure this out, where me and Sal will do something together, and have a little fun with that. And you asked me, did I see the video when he got all upset? And I finally saw it last night. I thought it was great. I thought it was so awesome, man. I've seen him crying about his Mets. I've heard him whine about Mike Brown. But that was some real awesome stuff from Sal. I thought it was really good. His brother-in-law, his dad, and that's what this has done for so many people. And it's amazing, it like the transformation. There's two things I want to talk about out of the shoot here. Number one, like James Dolan's speech, like that is something, if we were shown that, at almost any other point outside of the last couple of years, and like that little flicker with Melo when they won 54 games with Woodson, it just would not have been believable, because not only was James Dolan, I mean, the Knicks were horrendous, and when your team is not good, you are categorized, pardon me, as a bad owner. Now, there's different types of ownership. We've done this a million times. Obviously, some are just cheap. Some, obviously, they don't care. It was in their family, and they don't reinvest in the product, and it's not a passion. Like, that was never James Dolan's issue. He just couldn't get out of his way. And the irony, Jay, you probably don't remember all the specifics of this, but during the summer of 2010, the NBA free agent frenzy, the Knicks, that was when Donnie Walsh was still there. Love Donnie. Great executive. But he was, his health was starting to fail him. And the way the story goes, and there's been so many articles about this, like deep dives, where the Knicks presentation to LeBron James was just so, at least according to LeBron James's camp, was so unimpressive. Mm-hmm. Like, Donnie was in a wheelchair, didn't seem to have a great, I don't want to say a grasp, but like a presence maybe. And I say that very softly. And I got to know Donnie fairly well. I would have him on my show a lot back in the day because I was around the Knicks a lot. And he is a brilliant basketball mind. I love that guy. But apparently that didn't go over well. And one thing that they did, they made a Sopranos, like a remake. And they basically like Carmela, Tony, they imploring LeBron James to come.
Oh, right? Yeah. Of course I've seen that video. Is an all-time classic, man. They actually just recently, not all time, listen, based on the results, but
that's what I was going to say.
It's probably the only Sopranos thing I can think of outside of the show that really still had the characters embodying themselves. I'm sure they did another ad at some point, but that's the only one I can remember. And they actually asked Edie Falco about it the other day.
I saw that too. I did
great.
see that. She's like, once I knew James was in, I was all in, And she still spoke about how she's a big fan of LeBron. I saw the same video, but it didn't go over well. And as I'm watching Dolan's speech yesterday, which was nothing short of phenomenal. Like, you want to talk about a perfect balance of being real, being a little emotional, being in the moment, inspiring. Like, I just didn't think he was capable of that all those years ago. And as I said, the irony is, like, if he would have delivered that back in 2010 when they were trying to get LeBron James, we wouldn't have had to wait these extra 16 years. They would have had a championship at some point. But I mean, it was such a, at least in terms of his public persona, and I think that James Dolan has changed a lot. I think sometimes as you get older, you soften. what people think of you matters a little bit more. Not that you can't let that control your life, obviously. Otherwise, it's just not gonna. You're just never gonna win. But I think he took a little stock of how he projected himself, and even his body language, sitting courtside, the constant recycling and petulant ways. Like I just didn't think that he had it in him. For me, and that was such a different look at James Dolan. I've always defended him. He's always reinvested a ton of money in this team, trying to get the Knicks fans a championship. And, the way he laid out with the Rangers and the way he allowed the Rangers people, I know the Rangers are in a good spot now, but I mean, they've had a lot of good years and they were knocking on the door for a minute for sure, to be champions again. But the Knicks was always different because, I mean, he would never say this. I just think he cares about the Knicks, the Rangers, and to see him up there. And it wasn't, the amazing thing about that speech is that it wasn't like the night before the NBA finals, right? It wasn't like, all right, we're in San Antonio at the Four Seasons. The owner wants to have a couple of words. Somebody captured it, and it was, it was good. And then they went out and they won, which would have been a good story anyway. But when he intervened and what he spoke about and the sacrifice, and that was when they were in a rough spot, and he kept saying 10 weeks, and it really hit because he's obviously so much older than these players. 10 weeks, like if you're 25 years old, you're sitting in that room and he's basically telling you not to have, relations, to keep it clean, and to really whatever it takes to, to sacrifice, personal and team sacrifice. If you're 25, is it really going to resonate? I don't know. I mean, did everybody adhere to everything that he said exactly? I don't know, but it almost really doesn't matter, Jay, because the messaging was so on point, and the prize was won. And that goes down for a guy who was just universally despised. There's certain names, right, that sound like curses. If you think about it, we all know the F-bombs and whatever we say, right? But like when you would say Dolan, it would just drip with this
absolutely.
It sounded like a curse, like Dolan, or I don't even know.
Woody.
Woody's Woody's. Yes, it's same. You still get to the same point, but Woody is more clownish. I don't know how else to say it. So it's a little less vitriolic, even though you kind of wind up at the same spot.
Sure.
Like you don't trust him, you don't believe in him, and you're obviously pissed off at how bad the Jets have been. Yes, that's the same thing. But to me, like even when you hear Yankee fans say Cashman, it's like Cashman. Like it just rings with
there's a head shake to it.
Yeah. There's just an inflection. There's a tone to it. There's a messaging that is very clear. So it's just, I'm really happy for him. Trust me, I'm happy for me. I'm thrilled for the city. I'm thrilled for every Knick fan. I'm thrilled for Brunson. I'm thrilled for the entire organization. But I am truly, genuinely happy for James Dolan, somebody that I never thought I would have any sort of, not that I have I met him twice. I have no personal connection to him at all. But like to really feel that good for somebody and to have such an abrupt change of opinion is really something I didn't think that he was capable of making us do. And even if he did, give us something to think about, I don't know how many of us would have been really, truly willing to outside of a championship, like to almost give him the benefit of the doubt. So really, it was just awesome. I love seeing it. I heard a lot about it. I didn't see it when we were on the air yesterday. So I wanted to at least get into that a little bit, which gets into this, right? So it's crazy, man. Like the sporting identity, and I always go back to Joe B. I always do. I love Joe. We've had him on the show. He's one of my favorites. I love his style. Now Joe, as I've always said, is a lot more negative than me, but I also understand why, right? Because of the teams that he roots for, and he carries that like a badge of honor and a cross. It's a heavy burden that he has shouldered all these years. It's like his responsibility, even though he's not on as regularly now on the Fan, but he's got his podcast and you hear him, here and there on the Fan too. It's like when you are so entrenched in a mindset, like he is with the Mets and the Jets, and no longer the Knicks, and I am with the Jets. Like it's your entire sporting personality. And it's weird because anybody would obviously shed that loser tag and that heaviness and all the things that you carry around, all those empty seasons, the jealousy, to be very honest, of all the other teams that get their act together and win. But it's embedded in your sporting DNA if it's been long enough. And I've always had a pretty clear and distinct separation between the Knicks and the Jets because the Knicks in the 90s were obviously really good, and the 1 year with Melo and the last couple of years have been very good with Jalen Brunson, where the Jets have been a circus, literally a comedy of errors. But it's interesting to me. It's a look at the human condition, because when you are just so programmed, every thought that you craft, everything that you talk about, every button that you push, every lever that you reach for, it's all rooted in one mindset. And that is a mindset trying desperately to shed the label. And it comes out in some crazy rants and every waking moment pertaining to sports and pertaining to those teams like the Browns fans, the teams. Once it's over, like I'm literally asking the question, Jay, where do you go? Because you've known something. I've known this Nick Payne for my entire life. Now, again, there were many up points with Patrick. So to say my entire life and even early with B. King is probably not accurate, but it has certainly defined me. Like I've never seen the Knicks do what they did the other night. I've never seen a Knicks parade. I've never seen the pomp and circumstance is something that I did not think, most times I would ever get to touch and experience. And now that it's here, it's a little confusing. Maybe not yet because, it's still in the aftermath of the championship. And then the banner will go up opening night and the parade in a couple of days. But it is as swift as a transformation as you can possibly have as a sports fan. And I'll deal with how I deal with it, and I'm sure I'll be fine. But I'm very curious to see how people who have had similar bouts of anger and ineptitude and coming up short, how that changes how they comport themselves maybe with other sports. That's to me the interesting thing. Like every Knicks fan now that has been complaining about Dolan and all the things we've complained about for years, Steve Mills, etc. Like that's over. All right, now it's a new day. Everybody's feeling good and feel great, energetic, happy, confident. Hey, we'll start constructing next year's team, try to make it 2 in a row dynasty, which I don't really believe is going to come, but hopefully it does. But does that bleed into the Mets fans' perspective? Does that bleed into the Jets fans? I don't know, but I think it's incredibly fascinating.
What I think it does is I believe for at least the next year of New York sports. Now, I think the Mets, they're still gonna get their vitriol. They're still gonna get their stones thrown. But I think for a lot of New York teams, now I'm not gonna say they get a pass because they definitely don't get a pass. But I think a lot of New York fans will be able to look past any shortcomings in terms of a championship for other teams, because you can look back on the year and say, all right, the Knicks got one. And then next year, it gets a little tighter than that. It gets a little, now you start having the expectation of other teams need to start getting it together. The Knicks got it together. Now you guys need to get it together. So I think for this first year, it's almost like you're riding a Knicks high all throughout 2026. Even if, I hate to say this, and I don't necessarily think it's true, because depending on how the Knicks come out in the regular season, if they're the number 1 seed, certainly the expectation will be to go back to the NBA Finals. But I even think if the New York Knicks, maybe they make the Eastern Conference Finals, they don't make it back to the finals, I think Knicks fans could still live with that and say, listen, we got 2026 Listen, we got
probably. Yes.
But after that, after I think once a year passes and that high kind of goes down, I think now you start to get tight with these other teams. You're going, if the Yankees don't get it this year with Judge, you're starting to go, all right, it's time. Let's go. Mets, get it together. Jets, come on. Look, you got a GM. You got a great GM going. Why haven't you guys gotten it together yet? So I think it'll lead to eventually more antsiness in the fan community.
Interesting. I think you laid out pretty well. I agree with a lot of those things, but I'm going to get a little separation here. To me, I think that this makes Brian Cashman's job tougher. Whereas I think with the Jets, see, I think right now, at least I am. And by the way, I've also been pretty bullish on the, within reason of the Jets' future because I really believe in Darren Muji. You know this. The Jets have a really good offensive line. They've got the 3 first-round picks next year. All the things that I've hit a million times, right? Yeah. So to me, I think that even the most pessimistic Jets fan, I think they're feeling suddenly a little galvanized, like, whoa, shit, Knicks did it. Okay. Okay. And think about how the Knicks did it. It's not like the Knicks did it where, of course, everybody wanted Zion when he was coming out after 1 year at Duke, and they didn't get, nor did they get Ja Morant. But I think now it becomes a little bit more intellectually, pragmatically based than fueled just on emotion. Because if you trace back to Leon Rose's early days, whether it was drafting Barrett and IQ and then flipping them and doing smart things and then, hiring a coach, obviously, to raise the competitive floor. I think that that's going to be a blueprint that the Jet fan, and not just the Jets, but all the teams that have struggled for a long time in all the other cities and all the other sports, maybe you latch onto that and you say, okay, maybe this notion of especially, and maybe this does pertain to the Jets eventually getting their franchise quarterback, because sometimes when it's so prolonged, the losing and the torture, that you think the only way out of it is to get lucky with a ping pong ball or to go 1-16 and get Arch or whomever it might be. And I think we've learned that, that is not really the conventional path anymore. It's more about team building, which is why I really like Muji. It is about, I think certainly providing and bringing some smart people into a building, whatever it is, whatever building it might be, and letting them do their job. Like for years, it was always save us. LeBron, come save us. Please save us, right? Come on, get Zion. We got to save us, right? And that didn't work. It was completely counter to that. It was a slowish, methodical. There was a lot of points early with Leon Rose when we're sitting there saying, dude, are you going to do anything? Like all he was doing was like collecting a bunch of second-round assets and back of the first-round assets. And it was hard to see the forest through the trees. But as the culture slowly started to shift and there was some professionalism and the competitive tone really started to soar, well, that's when you start to now sprinkle in the bigger parts, not to save you, but to get you from, the middle part after the initial elevation from the floor to where we are now. With the Yankees, though, I do think this is very different. This is the part that I disagree with. I don't think that the Jets win. The Jets win the championship. The Knicks winning the championship does anything favorable for Brian Cashman. I think it's more. No, I think it's the exact opposite. Number one, I don't know how much more tolerant a Yankee fan's going to be with, like, at this point. If you don't know how you feel about Brian Cashman, then you're just not a true Yankee fan. Like, there's really, I don't know anybody who's in the middle. I mean, what I do is I do try to strike the balance of saying, hey, Cashman's a Hall of Famer. Cashman's won a bunch of championships. Cashman, for many reasons, and I don't want to just, get to the minutia now, but I don't think he's necessarily evolved the way the sport has evolved. And that's come out in a lot of rants from me over the years. And I think people know where I stand. But I think that now it's like, dude, if they did it and you're the Yankees, now you better do it. Like, now there's no more, not that there really was any tolerance anyway. I think it just ups the ante and increases the pressure for Cashman, where I think a Jet fan, man, I don't even, the Met fan right now is in a very, God almighty. I put the game on for a second last night. So I'm sitting in the office getting the 3 burning questions ready. And I put the game on. And I didn't look at a lot of times, like I'm at a field, I'll just look at my phone. All right, Yanks up 3-1, Mets losing 5-2, whatever. And I'll go back and I'll catch up on what I have to catch up on. No games last night. So I'm in my office here and I put the Mets on. They're losing 9-0 in the second or third inning. I'm like, what in the world? My God. After winning a couple of games against a good Braves team over the weekend. So the Mets, I don't know where the Met fan is now. And we'll get into the Mets as the summer progresses. But I really do think that this is a moment that just there's got to be a shift. There's got to be an abrupt shift in thought process. I know I've had a little bit of one and it's exciting, and it's foreign, and it's awesome. And so what the Knicks have done, basically the Knicks have become psychologists without even knowing it. Like, they have directed us from the darkness to a lighter place, which is phenomenal. I mean, the Knicks, I still can't believe I'm saying the Knicks are champions. The Knicks are champions. Wow. Willie at Long Beach, in Long Beach. What up, Will? Appreciate that, buddy. I always tell my friends that if the Mets ever win a World Series, I'll retire from being a fan. They think I'm kidding, but I'm serious. No, you won't, Willie. Listen, I know you, Willie. I know the Long Beach crowd. There's no way. Stop. If that is absolute utter nonsense. If the Mets win a World Series, and yeah, when the Mets win a World Series, because at some point they will, what you will then be doing is, like many of your Met brethren, you will now be rubbing it in the face of Yankee fans and looking to go repeat and looking to take over the city like you did in the 80s with Doc and Daryl and Keith and Gary, that 80-60 team. That's what you're going to do. You're not going to tap out and say, oh, I'm content. Oh, after all these years of torture and after all these ridiculous GM hires and firings and busted free agent signings and lost seasons, the Mets finally win. And I'm supposed to believe that Willie in Long Beach, Jay, is going to tap out and say, I'm good. Don't work like that. Unless you're just, and I don't believe Willie is this kind of fan. Maybe you could update that, Willie. Unless you're just not as all in as I believe basically every Met fan that I know is all in. There's no way. If anything, and I don't believe this at all, and I've heard this, I think it's a bunch of bullshit. Oh, I'm not going to watch the Jets. I'm talking about like when things are bad. I'm not going to watch the Mets. I think it is something that we say, or although I've never said it about my teams, but I've heard that a lot. It's something that we say, and it's cathartic for a moment. It's like, and this is not a good thing, but it's like when you're angry, right? And you say something, and it comes out, and you're like, all right, I feel better for a second, and then you're like, why did I say that? I'm calling BS, Willie. I don't believe you. And I love Willie, and I love Long Beach. Nonsense. Jay, you're not buying that, are you?
I'm not buying it unless this guy, and I know he's not because he's always commenting about the Mets out here. So there's no way.
I'd like to know the motivate. Like, why though? Willie, you got to finish the thought, Willie. I need more than that because I don't want to. I'm going to let you finish, Jay. I don't want to sell him short. Like, I don't want to do that. As I just basically, denounce what he just said. I don't buy it at all. But if he gives me more reasoning, well, then maybe I would change I still don't buy it, but I want to know why he's thinking that. Go ahead, Jay.
I mean, maybe the thought is, you can just only be a fan of an underdog. I've always just got to be a fan of a team that's suffering an intense drought, an intense curse. But I truly don't believe that.
Yeah.
Here's someone else who's saying, I'm afraid I will stop caring about the Mets if they win a chip. We reached the mountaintop. Yeah. What else is there to achieve?
Yeah. Well, listen, that part I do understand that to an extent. Not that you stop watching and not that you stop rooting, but I do believe, and some people might not want to hear this, but I do believe that there is something to be said for when you are fighting the fight for so long and it's your identity, right? That's what we talked about earlier. And you get there, that there's such an exhale that it's almost, even if you want to, it's almost impossible to dial it back up to that level and to remain absolutely as engaged and all in as you were before you won. And I went through this. Like, when the Yankees won it in 96, I was an absolute raving lunatic, out of my mind at every game, lunatic, right? And then they lost in 97. And the manner in which they lost was devastating to the then Indians. Alomar hits that home run to right field off Mo. We all know about that. And then they come out, they drop one of the best seasons in the history of baseball, and they win it in 98, and then they win it in 99, and then 2000, I'm like, you have to beat the Mets. Not that it would invalidate anything prior to that, but you had, and Jeter said it, and Steinbrenner knew it, and Torrey knew it. You had to win that one. And then when they, and they did. And then when they lost in 2001, as I've talked about a few times, it was a different level of hurt. Like, for me, I felt it was less about the Yankees. This is going to sound almost weird, but not weird, but like counterintuitive to being a fan. I was less sad that the Yankees lost, and I was more sad that all the Yankee fans from 9/11, who we lost, and their families who were left behind. That was a pick-me-up moment. Not that it would have changed anything, obviously, unfortunately, but it would have been a temporary respite from unthinkable and unspeakable pain and tragedy. So that was a different one, right? And then, as I just take you on this little journey, and then obviously things started going a little, you lose to the Angels, you lose the Tigers, A-Rod gets dumped to the bottom of the batting order. There's some frustration. Team ages out a bit. Some of the legends are not what they were. And that's sport. That's natural attrition. And then, I really wanted to see Alex Rodriguez win. And, that was an amazing time to be on New York radio, the daily dissection of A-Rod as he clutch, A-Rod and Jeter. So that fuel was incredibly high. But let's say the Yankees win it this year, or let's say the Yankees would have won it in 2024 with Juan Soto. Would I have felt the same way that I felt in 96? And I think the answer is no. It would have been different, with my kids. And that would have been an amazing moment. I took them to the game. I've said that. When Volpe hit the granny, we were there, staying up late, watching every game. But, there was a point, Jay, and I know that Evan does this with the Mets, and I'm almost envious of it. Not that he's a Mets fan, but envious that he cares about it to that extent. Yep. Where he's going to games where there's 13,000 people there, and he's still doing his scorebook. You couldn't pay me to keep score, but he does it, and it's his thing, and it's awesome. But awesome for him. I think that, I think he's one of the rare types. When the Mets ever win, I don't think there will be a droppage at all in how he, reacts and comports himself and follows, and he's going to be the same guy. But I also think that that's an anomaly, because I'm just telling you what I went through, and the reality of it is very simple. The more that you win, I don't want to say the less you appreciate it, but the less life-altering it becomes. That's just my reality.
I agree to somewhat of an extent, but at least in my own personal experience, watching my favorite team win the championship has not dropped my excitement or my want for a championship at all. After 2024, I want a championship even more now after that one almost. That one was so unsatisfactory. There needs to be another. So that's, at least in my experience, that's what I've taken from it. An only deepening hunger for my team to win a championship.
That's interesting.
From it.
That's interesting.
You see it, I need to see it again and again and again.
Yeah.
There's no, I don't know. For me, it's almost like, all right, you know what? You're the team. You figured it out. Now figure it out again. There's no excuses.
But now, so Jay, that okay. So, and it's an impossible question to answer because you can't fully transport yourself to that moment emotionally. But do you really, truly, and it sounds like the answer is yes, I would push back, but it's your opinion. So I certainly can't push back that much. Just having gone through it, that's what my basis is. Let's say the Celtics win the NBA championship in, whether it's next year or in 2 years. They get Giannis, they trade Brown, they don't, they run it back, they win, whatever. They shoot fewer threes, they augment a couple things, they win it, right? Do you really believe that you'll feel the same exact way that you felt when they first won? Because that's my point.
Depending on the circumstance, I might feel even better.
Wow.
If it was a tougher series, honestly, I think a lot of my thought is just that 2024 run has a big asterisk on it because it was a very easy run and the Celtics were extremely dominant like the 2017 Warriors were.
Yep.
So it doesn't have that oomph. It doesn't have that struggle. It doesn't have the great games from Tatum and Jaylen Brown. It has very good games from them. It doesn't have historic all-time moments. It was an absolute drudging of the rest of the league. And so, while that's great in a sense, listen, our GMs did their thing. They built a great roster. It doesn't fuel me. Nothing ever pulled them at my heartstrings that season at all.
Okay.
You go 63-19. What else are you expecting? You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's so right. I honestly think in a few years, if it happened, I think due to my age being a little older, it might hit me emotionally a little less. But I think I think it will mean more to me given the circumstance.
Well, that I like that because that I could relate to that. I think the journey, whether it's an incredibly any championship is an arduous journey, but let's face it, there's just certain years where you're like, we're going to win this year. Now, it doesn't always work out that way. It did for a minute with the Yankees, with the dynasty, and whether it's Dallas back in the day, or the Steelers in the 70s, or the Big Red Machine in the mid 70s for the Reds, Johnny Bench and those, Perez and those Joe Morgan, Pete Rose, of course. Yeah, I think that there's a championship expectation. And when you get it, it's satisfactory and it's rewarding and it's awesome. But I think if we're going to grade championships, which at the end of the day, why even bother doing it? It's a championship. But the unexpected one, where there's just so many impediments in your way and where it almost seems like you're defying logic. And even though they played 5 games in the finals and the Knicks won 4, it's like they won every game by 17 points.
No,
they were losing every game.
They were 5 of the best NBA Finals games of all time, easily. 5 of the most exhilarating, thrilling endings, greatest comebacks in NBA history.
Yep, and that adds to it.
Exactly. Oh, of course. I mean, while we talked about it beforehand, how amazing it would have been if the Knicks went 16-0 and they absolutely went on a or not 16-0, but they went on a 15 win streak. They went on an absolute insane tear.
They tie the Warriors, all that.
Tie the Warriors. That would have been amazing. Yep. I think what happened in these finals is so much better.
I agree.
It was so much more interesting.
Oh my God.
Heightened dramatics.
Yes.
It was incredible.
I don't disagree with that. How do you say? He always wants me to say. What is?
He wants you to say "fuck your couch," but
isn't that what it is?
No, it's "fuck your couch," but I think "fuck your couch" is so much better.
It is "fuck your couch." Listen, I'm only going to drop that stuff when I'm worked up. I'm not just going to just gratuitously drop F-bombs. So I do say. And by the way, to me, the way I see a K, the way I read that, the way
it makes sense.
A long U. I see a long U, I see the fook, and I see your couch. When your team's losing, you care about drafts, rule changes. I don't care about the rule changes that much, but yes, the draft for sure. The medical staff, the minors, once they win, you start to believe they figured it out a bit. You relax on the rope. That's an interesting point. Yep. Because if you want to do the rope and stick with the boxing analogy, like when your team is down, you are in the corner and you're getting pummeled. You're getting hit left and right. You're bloodied. You're dazed. You're up. The only thing holding you up really is the ropes. And it's like, okay, you either get that one final shot on the chin or the temple, and you go down, or somebody throws the towel in, from your corner, or the ref is like, we're done, and you're just hanging on for dear life. Whatever it takes to get out of that corner, you will exhaust every option just to keep the fight going. And when you are the one, this is the exact opposite. When you're the one that is, delivering the blows to the dude in the corner or the team in the corner, it's a different energy. You're like, bye, put him down. You got to put him down. But you're not fighting for your life because you're in control. When you're not in control, and none of us are in control of our teams, but seemingly when they're doing well, we feel more in control. And that's where it gets, there's, I think whether it's a focus or being all in, it dissipates a little bit. And there are some people who are above that. And that's great. That's great. I think Evan's one of them. I think this relates to Evan. I'm surprised to hear that, BT. Keeping score to ball games a lost art, like driving stick shift, but both are still cool for those that do it. No, listen, and it's always in a good-natured way. Everybody at the station, when I was there, way before, and I'm sure now, like, of course, they get on Evan with the scorebook. I'm not clowning Evan. It's just something you couldn't pay me to do. I find it incredibly uninteresting. It's just not what I go to a game to do. I go to the games to watch the games and, and I know he does a good job of watching the game and obviously doing the book, but why would I want that juggle? That seems like tedious work to me. I don't want it. I want to spit some peanuts. I want to have a beer. I want to talk shop, and I want to watch a couple of home runs. I want to watch a win. And, I'm somebody, I think, as you know, that really appreciates and, has a good feel for the record books and analytics and numbers and stuff. Like, I love that stuff. But even like Jay, you've probably heard me mention. I don't know if you have mentioned the app Game Changer. You ever hear me say that?
Of course,
right?
Dude. Yeah.
All right. So that's the app.
And I'm familiar, bro. My dad used to be all up on that.
Because okay, they didn't have that when I was young. Obviously, they didn't have phones when I was young like that. But no, Game Changer is just an app on your phone. And I mean, depending upon how serious you are about it, like you can go into I'm talking about kids. Line drive rate, ground ball rate, K rate. I mean, it's pretty wild stuff. Now, some guys doing Game Changer are very liberal, like, all right, the outfield, a little drop pop up, let's give him a double. Like, we try to guard against that. We're pretty vigilant with that. But like, to me, even with all the coaching that I do, I have not once input a single pitch for Game Changer, and I will not do it. That's not why I coach. I coach to give signs. I coach to teach. I coach to do infield, outfield. I coach to throw BP. All right. I'm not there. And some people just enjoy that. It's not a knock. It's just what I personally enjoy.
Yep.
So I know Evan's son plays. I don't know how much he plays, but I would have to imagine that as I think Jet is the older one. By the way, Jet, I had to give Jet $100. You remember that story last year when
what happened?
He came in. And me and Sal were finishing up our show, and the Mets were in a bad spot. And a cute little kid. Evan would bring him in, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 times a summer. And I always try to talk to him, a little, hey, how's baseball going? Our show's ending there, whatever. So it wasn't much time. But I just love talking to the kids. How's baseball going? Let me see the swing, whatever. And I'm like, the Mets stink, huh? I go, hey, Jet, I'll give you $100 if you say the Mets suck. Right? Because you know how much his dad loves the Mets.
Yeah.
And, Evan would pop him on the mic once in a while, and he said it.
No way.
Yes, he did. And I had to give him $100. But I would think as his career goes on as a ball player, if anybody's going to be doing Game Changer, it's going to be Evan. No, it's not a knock, man. It's just I don't want to do that. No. So it wasn't like that at all. Not at all. And as I said yesterday, it was nice. Evan shot me a text on Saturday night. Congrats. Classy. And guys like that, and so did Marash. Guys like that, I want to see him win. I want to see him experience something like that, I felt and we felt on Saturday that seemed forever elusive. Well, didn't seem, it was elusive. Is building Brunson a statue outside the Garden hyperbole? No, I don't think it is. It reminds me of Rodgers shoving Salah like we're supposed to be here. What do you mean? Like we're expecting it to happen? Yeah, I think I know what you mean there. By the way, that was hysterical. That was that Patriots game that Thursday night game. And I knew it. I got on the air the next day. I'm like, you don't respect him at all. Like, that was ridiculous. If you remember that, he's like, dude, act like you've been here. We scored a touchdown. Relax. So you knew it wasn't going to wind up well for Salah, and it did not. No, I think there's absolutely got to be a statue. I don't know about some of the city ordinances. I don't know. I know he owns the building, so I'm sure he can do whatever he wants. To me, listen, this is one of the extensions of the conversations, like whose numbers get retired now from this team, because we had conversations and I would always say no. Like, obviously Patrick's up there, but what about Starks and Oakley? And I'm like, no, we love those guys, but they didn't win. You're not throwing them up there in the rafters with Red Holtzman and Willis Reed and Clyde Frazier and Patrick Ewing. It's not the same, right? So to me, that's one aspect of it. And, I now believe that, Jalen will be first. Clearly, I believe he's going to have some company from this team. I think you have to. So I believe that, I don't know if it's going to be the entire starting 5, but it might be, especially if they remain really, really, first of all, if they remain the same team, which I think they will, and if they still are really, really good, there'll be multiple names up there. As for the statue, and there should be, I don't know how you're going to put 2 out there. I mean, there's talk about, have OG's hand, the tip of God, which would be amazing, or Brunson doing his thing, with his thing. I mean, that's the one you got to have. I don't think you're going to have 2. Now, maybe what you do is you thread the needle this way, right outside, visible to everybody on 7th Avenue, all the taxis, etc., somewhere in the neighborhood of the marquee. You've got maybe the Brunson thing, and then as you walk into the Garden, you've got a statue of OG. But I don't think you're going to put. That's a little busy to have 2 out there on the city streets. But hey, I mean, if they want to put 5 out there, would anybody complain? I know I wouldn't. I've been a fan since 2009. All right, so that's not that long. So Willie's young, but Willie, you're still not giving me the answer why you would tap out. Like, I'm less concerned when you started rooting for the Mets, and I'm much more interested in wanting to find out why you would stop rooting for them when they win. Doesn't make any sense. Jay, can you get some clarity on this?
Willie, drop something. Give us some clarity here. Why would you switch up on your boys? Unless he's saying right there he was a Yankees fan up until 09 hit, and then he switched up to the Mets. But I couldn't imagine that.
No, I don't think so. At Basketball Joy, I don't know if we've ever seen that one before. Is that a new one? Is that a new handle?
Basketball Joy. This is a new one.
I think it might be new. So, by the way, guys, pound the like button. Little light on, the views were great. A little light on the pound. How freaking hard is it? You watch this show to take your finger, click. Is it really that hard?
Come on now. Knicks are champions. Drop a like.
Yeah. One of the many reasons I'm happy the Knicks won is that I actually get to enjoy a season here. No more sweating every single. What, you weren't sweating during all those comebacks down 29 points? You weren't sweating. I mean, I wasn't sweating much when they lost 2 straight to the Hawks, but I'm sure there was a.
I think he means like for next season.
And yeah. All right. Okay, I got you. But next season's going to be next season, and Giannis will be somewhere else, and Halliburton will be healthy, and the Spurs will get a veteran or two to pull those young bucks, and they are going to be a problem along. I don't know, maybe Jamal Murray. It's probably time to mix that up in Denver and get another running mate for Jokic. I mean, there's going to be mass changes here. And don't forget, as great as Leon Rose has been with the Knicks here, Sam Presti's the best executive in the sport. And that team won the championship before the Knicks, and they're going to do something, I can promise you, that's going to get them right back on that one line and be in a position to win. Where's LeBron go? Like, the NBA is going to be so different. That's why you can't say, not that you were, but I no longer look at like windows 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Nonsense. When you get a chance to win, you have got to win. When the circumstances are in your favor, you got to crack through. Otherwise, it's going to be, it's going to be a very empty existence. Little Yankee. Last time the Yankees won, I had my baby. My baby's 16. It will be a big deal. Yes. Well, that's the next generation. That's the first time you go through that with a child. That's obviously very, very different. I'm totally with you on that. What else we got here? I didn't think seeing the Knicks doing all these appearances reminds me of the Yankees of '96. The win after a drought is always the best memory. It just is. It just is. I have often said, and it's a perfect time to bring this back out. Then we'll get to 3 burning questions, and I've got some stuff on Sorsby for the entire NFL, and we'll get some calls up and some more chats. I've often said, and this is the perfect, this is the perfect test for my belief system here as a fan. So you think about, let's do the layers of fandom. Number one, your team is inept, just horrendous, doormat, lottery in the NBA, top 5 in the NFL every year, 2-3 years, every year, new coach, new GM, awful. Then you become slightly competitive, right? And then you take a jump to competitive. You could use other words, but I'm just kind of doing this quick here. Then you go from competitive to good. And there's a difference there. And then from good, you graduate to championship viable, meaning whatever sport, whatever season you're in, you come in, the odds in Vegas reflect how you're viewed. You're one of the, 3, 4, 5 best teams in the entire league, whatever it might be. And then number 6 is you actually win, right? So inept, slightly competitive, good. But you still know you missed something. You're like something, you're good, but maybe like in the NBA, maybe get to round 2, put up a good fight against a team that's just further along than we are, and then we can build off from there in the summer, theoretically. And then you go from good to championship viable, and then you win it, right? To me, well, we all know the worst stage, that's being inept, being utterly, on the side of the road watching everybody have fun. I always thought, and I've always enjoyed that ride from slightly competitive to competitive. I don't know why I've always found that to me so galvanizing. Probably because outside of the Yankees, most of the teams that I root for are always historically so bad that I'm craving an ounce of relevance. You know what I mean? And once you get that ounce of relevancy, Well, now you can start to take stock of the rest of the league and what's our cap situation, who might be available, what's the next step. And by the way, if you go from inept to slightly competitive, especially say in basketball and football, a little less so in baseball because it's more for a bigger market team because it's more free agent stuff. But in terms of like building a team, I mean, think about how the Yankees spend, the Dodgers spend, the Phillies, the Mets, teams like that. Not that it always works, but I think when you go from slightly competitive to competitive and really inept to slightly competitive, there's a conviction that you have the right general manager because you're not going to go from inept to competitive if you don't. And if you do, it's a one-off. Maybe it's a little circumstantial, you overachieve, COVID year, not everybody's taking it seriously. You crank out some wins. And really, that was kind of the Knicks, if you really think about it. They went from inept to, but see, they went from inept to competitive. They skipped a step, which was exciting. They had home court advantage. Now, Trae Young was dancing all over us, whatever, but it wasn't the increments, quite everything else was, because they went from inept to competitive. Then they get Brunson, and then they go from competitive to good. And then, then you go from competitive to, all right, well, I didn't think they were going to win the championship for much of the season. They were in the conversation. We all knew that they were going to have, 50, 55 something wins like that, be one of the higher seeds and have a chance. And that's the way it played itself out. So, Jay, of those stages, all right, and you can't say championship because that's too easy. And you're not going to say inept because nobody wants to be inept. Slightly competitive, good, championship viable. We all know which is the best. That would be championship viable.
Sure.
What's the most rewarding to you?
The most rewarding stage of this.
Rewarding, yes. That transformation from whatever to whatever.
I think it's the good season. I think it's that first really good Eastern Conference Finals, Western Conference Finals, whatever season where your team actually looks solid and maybe you're going, all right, we're one piece away, we're one move away, let's get this thing done. I also think, the exciting stage, if your team goes through an exciting stage, it probably has the best payoff if you eventually win a championship because, I have a feeling it means, not have a feeling, I know it means a lot when you have young players who your team drafted and maybe you had a couple seasons where you were iffy, and then you go and win the championship. I mean, that's one of the most meaningful things you can do in sports. But I think the best seasons and some of my favorite seasons I've ever watched from teams are the seasons when they are good, when they don't win the championship, but they just really look like they're one piece away. Yeah, because then there's, and I it's weird because here the Knicks just won it, and I kind of agree because when you win, I don't want to, and I haven't done this by design. I am not going to just turn this into what's next. Like I'm not just going to jump into Giannis. They're not even going to get Giannis, right? But and obviously on a national format, which this is to an extent. But like you're on First Take, you can't just sit there and have Stephen A. clap for the Knicks for 2 straight hours. Like, you've got to introduce some thought-provoking content, which they obviously are. Like, what do the Spurs need to do to retool? The whole Wemby stuff, which is, man, I still think some people are being light on Wemby. Not everybody. But no, I love what he's opened up though, because there's a comment I starred here. And
I was going to get to that. Yeah, get that up there. That was a good one about Wemby.
Wembanyama's a perfect villain for the NBA. He has a unique personality that's easy to hate, immature, bizarre, but good for the league. Fully agreed. I mean, I don't know. It's almost like the way he acted in the NBA Finals. It's almost like they scripted it to have this guy become the perfect villain for the NBA. He will be the best player skill-wise, likely unless some freaking, I don't even know, comes through, unless Steph Curry 2.0 comes through the door. He'll be the best player in the NBA, but he'll also have this very strange personality that I think especially riles up American basketball fans who are used to the face of their league being American players. LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, Michael Jordan, KG. Obviously, recently, you have your Giannis's, you have your Lukas, you have your Sheas, and now you have your Wembanyamas. But at least for the majority of our viewing experiences, our league has been dominated by big, flashy American personalities. And now it's very different. It's very different.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, listen, Giannis, and you said SGA from Canada. You said Luka. You didn't say Jokic. He's obviously another one.
Yeah.
But like Dirk had that profile. Now, never the number one guy, even though for me he's probably a top 3-4 scorer of all time. And I don't mean just the points that he accrued. I mean how he was able to beat you on pretty much every level. Just how brilliant his overall. You know, it's Durant for me. It's Dirk, a little lesser extent Carmelo, but he's in the conversation as a scorer, and a few others. But all those guys, they had a lot of goodwill. Like, people love Doncic. You see Doncic jerseys everywhere, and I don't know anybody that does. Now, the flopping stuff with SGA is a little different. I get it, but it's not rooted in hate. And I know that that's a strong word, but people now seemingly hate Wemby.
Yep.
They hate him. And he's earned that. And listen, he is young, and he's going to course correct some stuff. And I always give young athletes a chance to figure things out. You have to, because they're young. But he's done the impossible. Like, to me, the Spurs, now not everybody loved Popovich, all right? But everybody knows how great he is. You know, but Popovich was very divisive and very forward in what he would talk about politically. Same with Steve Kerr. So if you agree with him and you align your belief system with them, you love them. If you don't, you can't stand them. So that's changed the Spurs profile a bit. But Wemby has managed to take probably like the most benign, great team ever and turn them into this villainous, crew. And it's not even really fair, because it's really just Wemby. But I mean, everybody loved and respected Duncan. All right, what was the criticism on Duncan? Little vanilla, little boring.
Yeah.
Shot from 20 feet away. Like, but never a personality thing. David Robinson, the Admiral, was literally, an extension of one of our armed forces going to Navy. I mean, the guy is a stand-up, an American, and a good citizen as you could possibly have. Avery Johnson, think about those crews, right? And now it's gone to a level with Wemby that I've not seen this in the NBA.
No. I mean, because even LeBron, for all his antics, he's still generally a man of good character. And he certainly was never a dirty basketball player. Like, I can't really think of someone could definitely pull one up, but I can't really think of a play where LeBron was ever intentionally trying to hurt someone or intentionally flagranting someone. I'm sure he wrapped someone up on a layup one time, on a fast break layup.
Yeah,
but he's never, and the one thing about LeBron, he never acted out of line like Wemby has. LeBron has never ever in his career stooped down to the level of not shaking his opponent's hands after losing the finals.
I agree.
Never. That is one of the, like, you can talk about a lot of things here, but that is just one of the most sore loser looks you can have. And one of the, I saw a clip and it was like all the previous NBA champions. Granted, Kobe Bryant didn't do it in 2008. He didn't shake the Celtics' hand.
Is that true?
That is true. He did
all
not.
Right, well,
shake
listen,
the Boston
Celtics rest in peace to we love Kobe, but let's not give him a pass for that. I mean, he did the wrong thing there too.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I don't think that would be right either. And I think some people would want to look at that in a revisionist way and say, no, that's like a different mentality. It was versus the Celtics. But no, I think what Wemby did there just showed a level of a lack of respect for the game, a lack of respect for how NBA players are supposed to comport themselves.
Yeah.
It's just strange.
Well, think about this. If you're a wrestling fan, you know the term heat, right? So-and-so's got heat. And, certainly even way before I was watching, but certainly when I started watching as a kid, like, there was real life heat because it was so believable, whether it was the Iron Sheik or Nikolai Volkov, singing the Russian national anthem, or Sergeant Slaughter becoming an Iraqi sympathizer. I mean, it just...
WWE just played into all the racial bits, man. It's crazy.
I know.
Even up until 2012, 2013, even in my childhood watching, it was absolutely absurd.
It really was. Some of the things that Roddy Piper said were absolutely insane on Piper's Pit. But I'm talking about I'm not even talking about like white, black. I'm talking about
no, of course, like general fan vitriol towards these
It was real.
superstars. I mean,
It
you
was.
told me, didn't your was it your grandmother or
Yeah,
someone
yeah.
who poured
Vinegar.
in the person's eyes?
No. Well, she loaded up a water gun with vinegar. Her and her twin sister
Oh my God.
would go to the garden, and one of the Moondogs, Spot and Rex, got thrown out of the ring, and she shot it in his face. Jeez, that tells you a lot, doesn't it? But the point is that back then, like, there was such an intense disdain rooted in a pro-American backdrop, which was real. It was palpable, and like guys would, some of the guys I mentioned, like they would, some fans would try to stab them, like on the way to the ring, or really out on the way to their car with guns. Like, I mean, it was the wild, wild west, which thankfully it's not like that now. Security is much higher, whatever. But when even Rodman, for all his antics, like there has never been a figure like Wemby. I mean, he has gone from, somebody who was just already christened and baptized as the future face of the league. And I don't think that there's anything that he can do, because I don't think he'll even try to change this new identity. I think he's going to lean into it, and it will probably be fuel for championships. But this guy is hated. I mean, outside of San Antonio, not just Knicks fans either. I mean, you saw that 3-minute sequence, that video that was online yesterday, where whether it's the Naz Reid elbow, all the things that happened in this series, like, you don't think that Naz Reid can't wait to tune him up first time they play next year? I mean, you don't think that that's going to happen?
It's going to happen. He even pushed Tatum right after he got back from injury, like 2 games after.
I know.
Just like, oh my God, this guy, he is in for a season next year of just getting battered. Oh my goodness. I mean, I'm sure he'll have an off season of putting on some pounds.
I ain't putting on that much in 3 months.
But no, he's not going to be able to put on enough weight for just the centers of every team just absolutely going into this man.
I don't think it's just going to be centers. I think guards, pick and rolls, elbows to the ribs, like, they're going to need to get him, and there's not many of these in the NBA. It's not the 80s or 90s. They're going to have to find him an enforcer. Honestly, like almost like a goon to protect, like Wayne Gretzky back in the day. I'm serious.
And honestly, Bismack Biyombo is one of the guys, and they have him on the team. He's one of the guys I'd trust to do that. He's a big dude. They might need to get like Steven Adams or something. I had a crazy thought last night. This is first take. This is like just a crazy hot take future.
All right.
Okay. Imagine a future where Wemby becomes like such a hated NBA player or something like that, that he holds out of the NBA for a season and he returns back to Euro to play for a year or some shit like that.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Dude, it wouldn't surprise me, but wouldn't that be like I'm just thinking down the line, like a potential crazy hypothetical sports story. Like, let's say Spurs come up short in a couple championships. I don't know. Something's not going his way. Leagues against him. People are going at him in the games. And then he goes to European basketball. Absolutely, just like he averages 50 and 20 for a season or something ridiculous.
But does he come back? Or is that
Yes. In my mind, he comes back to the NBA for a different team in the season after as like the highest paid free agent in history. It's something ridiculous. That team catches flack for it because, what are you doing bringing back this guy back to the league? This is years down the line, hypothetical, but who knows? It was just it was just running through my mind. I was like, imagine.
I got no problem with that. All right, let's get to 3 burning questions, J-Rod. Have a little fun with this here. We do it once a week. 3 burning questions, and it's brought to you by Sullivan, Papain, one of New York's best personal injury law firms. According to U.S. News and World Report, as general counsel to the New York City Firefighters Union for more than 4 decades and the proud law firm partner of St. John's Athletics, Sullivan Papain is New York's team fighting for New Yorkers for more than 100 years. You can find them online at triallaw1.com, triallaw1.com. Remember the name, Sullivan Papain. All right, what do we cook up here today? Let's see. Question number 1. Look at that logo. Oh, it looks great. Now that the Knicks have ended their 53-year drought, which city or team winning a championship, that's a good one, would make for the best story in sports? To me, it's a good one, but it's an easy one. It's got to be the Cleveland Browns. I don't know how you can have any other answer than the Cleveland Browns. Now, listen, you want to tell me, just have the conversation. All right, you want to say like the Jets win? All right, great. The Raiders, they haven't won forever. They've been through hell so many lean years, and Mendoza's there now. All right, got it. You know, you want to tell me, the Mets winning for the first time since '86 or whatever. I'm not saying there's no other stories. The Cleveland Browns have existed for 78 years. 78 years, J-Rod. This is an amazing stat. They are 17-22 in the playoffs with no Super Bowls. Now, they won a couple of the championships, but it was before the Super Bowl was the Super Bowl.
Wow.
They've had one playoff win in the 2000s, and that was 2020 during COVID when it was all whacked out. And of the 17, I did a deep dive here because I think this is the easiest answer. I'd love to see the Browns win. I think their fans are great. Of the 17 playoff wins that they've had in 78 years, 7 of the 17 came before 1950 or earlier. Think about that. It is amazing. And in the 2000s, it's not only do they not win championships, we all know that, but in the 2000s, 14 years, they have had 5 wins or less in the 2000s. I mean, I remember when they got Manziel and others too, but I remember there was a jersey. You may have seen this. It's somewhere. You don't have to look for it now, but it's somewhere on Google it, where a Browns fan, he had a jersey of a quarterback, and then he just I think he taped 17 names on it, because the guy that he had failed. It's just ridiculous. They can't find a quarterback. They can't win. Their fans are great. It's a blue-collar city. They've been around since day one. Great old school football pedigree. That's easy. I mean, we'll let the dogs out. Let the Browns out. The dog pound deserves a little fun as well. Good question. Number 2. All right. Excluding the Yankees, which New York team will be next to crack through? All right, I'm going to suspend the hockey stuff because I want to kind of stay in my lane. All right, so I'm just going to, no disrespect, I'm just going to push that to the side, though. So you're talking about the Mets, and I'm going to, the Liberty already won, so forget about them for that. Mets, Giants, Jets, Nets, Knicks won, Yankees not part of the equation here. The Mets, I don't even know what planet the Mets are on right now, so forget about the Mets. And it's amazing, too. David Stern's been here 2 years. The Mets are going backwards. David Stearns left Milwaukee 2 years ago. Look at their record. It's absolutely ridiculous. They are winning without him, and the Mets are losing with him. So got a lot of problems there with Stearnsy. That pitching is a joke. Start coming out with these openers. It's just, you can't even watch it, man. So to me, and the Nets have an abundance of young players and draft equity. You can't say the Nets yet. Although you never know. If the Nets make a move for Giannis, I don't know. Could Giannis and LeBron join forces with the Brooklyn Nets? I wouldn't bet on it, but you never know. So I'll give the Nets a puncher's chance. But to me, the two that jump out are the football teams, as crazy as that sounds for one of them. Now, the Giants, they've got a Super Bowl winning head coach in Harbaugh, so that obviously is great. And I think most of us believe they've got their franchise quarterback, which I think we all know is pretty important in the NFL. The Cowboys are in a rough spot. Just given Dak's age, the contract, they haven't won forever. They've got some financial issues, not in terms of profit, but just, obviously keeping the finances in balance, paying wide receivers, Dak making $50 million, whatever it is. The Commanders 2 years ago, phenomenal, massive step back last year. Who knows? And obviously the Eagles, A.J. Brown gone, but a great GM in Roseman. I actually think the Giants are going to take a pretty quick jump up this division. I do. My answer, it might not stun you because some of you think I'm a homer, but I'm really not. My answer is the Jets. This is insane that I'm even saying this here because I know they have to find the quarterback, and I'm not talking about this year. None of these teams are winning anything this year. Giants aren't winning the Super Bowl. Jets aren't winning the Super Bowl. Mets certainly aren't even going to be a wild card team, let alone the World Series. But look at what the Jets have going for them. Now, if you don't believe in Muji, like I do, all right, that's going to temper your answer in a different direction. I get it. That's fine. We would agree to disagree. The Jets O-line is phenomenal. The Jets general manager, I think, is terrific. And the Jets have 3 first-round draft picks in 2027, not to mention a lot of young, explosive, and they just crushed it in the draft again. So, the components, whenever they do get that quarterback, right, it's going to be a very, I think, good situation. Now, rather than just like, oh, we suck, we have no O-line, we have nothing, but hey, we got a kid drafted first overall, go save us, kid. Like, no, that whomever they get at the quarterback spot for the future is going to be walking into a very good, I can't believe I'm saying this about the Jets, I believe a good situation. So I would say the Jets. Let the mockery end, stop laughing. But of the options, man, I mean, am I really wrong? Maybe some of you, because of Harbaugh, it's easier to say, and the Jets, I don't think Glenn will be the coach when it's all said and done, but that's the other reason here. I think that the Jets are becoming appealing for the reasons I just gave you, O-line, et cetera, draft capital, good young players, controllable deals, et cetera, that, once this season is probably, 5 wins, maybe 6, whatever it might be, they're going to get a new coach. And I think it's going to be a difference-making, Super Bowl winning prior coach, which will just accelerate their curve. Maybe I'm nuts. Maybe I'm still drunk on the Knicks' success here, J-Rod, but I am going to say the Jets. Okay, let me get the third one. What else? We have a little baseball? We do. With nearly 3 months of the MLB season elapsed, name the best storyline so far. Boy, I mean, I kind of do like the fact that the White Sox are in first place. That's a good story. I don't know how you could go with anything other than Jacob Mizorowski right now as a pitcher. I don't know how you could do it. This guy's on pace for 308 strikeouts. And I over the weekend, right? I'm sorry, there's 2 things. Going back to the Memorial Day. So obviously, weeks ago against the Cardinals. I don't know if you guys caught this. 57 pitches that he threw were over 100 miles an hour. 100. 32% of the pitches he's thrown this year are over 100 miles an hour. And this past weekend, twice, he hit 104 against the Phillies. And he's also got an old school quality where over the weekend, his manager was getting ready to take him out. He's like, nope, get back in the dugout. Punch out, punch out. So I really, with somebody like him, the torque and just the constant reaching into the well of 102, 103, 101, 100 is like his changeup at this point. What are the limitations physically on the arm? But watching this dude pitch, I mean, is it really different than watching Dwight Gooden pitch, back in the day or somebody like that? Not really. So that's my answer there. And there you go. Good. 3 burning questions brought to you by Sullivan Papain. Find Sullivan online, triallaw1.com. That is triallaw1.com. Remember the name, Sullivan Papain. All right, good questions there, Jay. Would you like to contribute anything to those answers? Push back?
Yeah, no. I mean, I just want to say Mizorowski has been one of the best things to watch in my rise to baseball fandom. Like, this dude is freaking incredible, bro. Like, and I watched that same clip of like him telling his coach to get back in the dugout, and
loved it.
Like he's too sick. I mean, it's gonna. Is he in the NL or the AL? Now you gotta give me.
He's in the NL. He's on the Brewers.
Okay, he's on the Brewers. So him and Schlittler are not vying for the same Cy Young.
Nope.
Okay, so nope. I mean, I would have to say he'll probably get it in the NL, and then I'd have to imagine Schlittler's still looking decent in the AL. Yeah, he's still looking.
Oh, he's more than decent.
Or what's his name? Christian Suarez.
He started very well.
Sanchez.
Dylan Cease is based on the money. He's in the neighborhood for sure. It's crazy too because I just popped up Tom Seaver's stats for me, right? And it's amazing. Like, I've talked about this a lot over the years about arm care, and like at some point this has infiltrated a lot of Yankee and Met conversations. At least locally and nationally with whatever pitcher you're talking about, where guys just don't go as much as they used to. There's just an organizational rule, like, whether it's coming from the minors and making sure that each level of the minors incrementally you go up in a responsible way. So you're not going to get drafted and go to rookie ball, or if you're coming from college, you're going to go to A ball. You're not going to go to rookie ball, and say throw 52 2/3 innings your first year, and then in your second year go to 169 innings in the minors, and then 207 when you make the bigs. Like, there's more of there's definitely a chart, and everybody's is a little different, whatever. But some guys coming out of college were already pre-existing arm issues, so you're a little bit more leery. But Tom Seaver's a guy, and it's amazing. Like, you look at the amount of, and he's not alone, but he's one that always comes to mind for me. So he comes up at the age of 22, and Tom Seaver, where's his innings? Hang on a second. Goes in succession. 251, 278, 273, 290 innings, 286, 262, 290, 236, 280, 271, 261. I think there's that is in a row. And then 259 at the age of 33 with the Reds when he was dealt the next year after when he in 77. You look at somebody like Dylan Cease. I believe there's the stat where I think he's the only one, maybe somebody else, but I think it's just him. No, maybe it's Gausman as well from Toronto, who the Yankees just faced. But Dylan Cease is like 5 years of, I want to say, in a row of at least 200 innings and 200 strikeouts. 200 innings. And that's the benchmark. And Tom Seaver at that point's going, 280, 290. The point is that even he never had 300 strikeouts, and he might be the greatest right-handed pitcher of all time. I mean, it could be Maddox, it could be Clemens, it could be Pedro, it could be Bob Gibson, but he's obviously on the list. And right now, the Miz is on pace for 308. Now, does he get there? I mean, there's just so many variables, but no, he has been absolutely redonkulous, as my buddy Robbo says. Not ridiculous, redonkulous. Speaking of one of my buddies, I'm playing golf on Friday, J-Rod. Getting out there, buddy.
Let's go.
Golf ski. Yeah.
Who are you playing with?
3 of my good buddies.
Oh,
yeah.
Very fun. Let's go.
Yeah. Oh, I told my wife, I'll see you. See you at some point Friday night. Bye. Daddy's going out and playing some golf. I think we're playing late. We were trying to play earlier because we were setting this up, and one guy's in two guys are in finance, one guy's a lawyer. So it's not like they're doing a YouTube show at home where they can just say, I play whenever I want.
Sure.
So we were coordinating it, and I really wanted to join them. And I'm like, hey, I got to see how far the Knicks Spurs go. Like, I'm not, they play Thursday, meaning in 2 days, which they could have. I got to be on the air Friday. That's a given. So we made a late tee time. So it's like 2:15, which I kind of like. What's that? Yeah.
No, that's a good time of day for it.
I enjoy. No, I'm certainly not like that. I'm going to enjoy how I'm going to hit the ball, although I'm going to the range after the show today. I got to start scraping away the rust. That's even a joke. I mean, heads up, even at the range, you're going to hit some sideways ones, I'm sure. But I love playing golf. I used to really enjoy playing in the morning, like pre-kids when I was in my 20s. Like, I'd love getting up 5:30, getting a cup of coffee, driving up the West Side Highway over the GW Bridge to a course I used to play, New York Country Club. Shout out to them. Phenomenal in New City. Beautiful track, right? And I love that, right? Because then I'd have the whole day. I'd come home tired, take a shower, plop down on the couch, watch the Yankees, fall asleep, regenerate, go out that night.
No.
So, I'm not playing early now because, number one, there's always games, and I just don't want to get up that early anymore. But I have really grown to, if I don't have to, I have really enjoyed playing like a 2:15 tee time in the Northeast is beautiful because when you hit the back nine, it depends upon how fast we're playing. You're at like 4:30-ish, 4:15, and then those final 5 or 6 holes, sun's coming down a little bit, get a little deeper sense of nature. Love it. So I'm pumped, man. I cannot wait to play on, and I'm gonna try to play lefty again. I played one round a month ago, played righty. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I'm just tormenting I'm going back to lefty, which is what I played naturally after all those years of getting absolutely destroyed. All right, I got to get to some Sorsby stuff. Let's get a couple of calls. Go ahead, Jay. What do you have?
Let's go. Let's get our boy Benji up to
Benji.
Who's probably celebrating that chip.
Oh my God, BT.
Benji.
Life will never be the same.
Nope.
And I agree with everything you're saying. For me, honestly, Game 4 was the pinnacle just because of how it went down. It's the best game ever, maybe the best sporting event ever. It was at that game that I started to feel like, hey, I sold my Game 3 seats. Maybe I messed with the energy of this team. Somehow, some way, we brought it back. I hugged every single person in my vicinity. It was honestly it was a top 10 life moment, maybe top 5. Allen Houston's game-winning shot in Game 5 in '99 was was a top life moment.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Now,
That was especially think about how much we hated Pat Riley and that team. Oh, I went nuts when that dropped in.
it was insane, man. I'm thinking back to calling in and listening to your show in mid-January after the Dallas loss on MLK Day.
Yep.
Thinking about this team and all the things that were said about Cat and Bridges, and now Cat is a champion. Bridges is a champion. These guys potentially will have their numbers retired. Cat is going to get Cat is deservedly so going to get a 4-year, $272 million extension. Maybe he takes a hometown discount just to save us a little money, a la JB. Our biggest worry right now is whether or not Mohamed Diawara gets signed to an offer sheet, which is champagne problems, my friend.
Yes.
So I mean, bring everybody back. Everybody deserves the right to come back.
Yeah.
We're in a great position, and I think it's a good time for us to. And I mentioned this to a buddy again. I think it's time for us to open up and reopen the Karl Anthony Towns Hall of Fame conversation.
Hold on a sec. Now, I don't think there's anything to converse on because he's in. You got to understand the Hall of Fame is different than baseball. It's all encompassing. So it's collegiate, it's international, Olympics, et cetera, FIBA. So he's a Hall of Famer. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. I got nothing to debate on that.
Okay, that's awesome. Great to hear.
Man.
Great to hear, man. And I think knowing that we have these our starting five coming back, and then the bench pieces, I would say maybe Clarkson, takes a higher offer somewhere else, or maybe I doubt Shamet would leave, or maybe Mitch gets plucked by the Lakers or OKC or something like that. But whatever it may be, we're in an amazing position. I'll be there Thursday, standing on the street, drinking a double can of Stella, smoking a cigar.
Nice.
Thinking about how amazing life has been. Can't wait till next year. And man, these guys need to be celebrated for all the amazing stuff they did. And they brought everybody together. They brought friends together, families together. I had people reaching out to me that I hadn't heard from in years, and they all said, "Hey, man, you're the first person I thought of when we won,
man.
And you deserve it."
Yep.
Mindaugas Kuzminskis, Lee Nalon.
Lee Nalon. Wasn't Lee Nalon from TCU?
Yeah, I believe so. He
definitely was.
He was like a worse version of Michael Beasley.
I remember I thought he was going to be good. Lee Nalon. I got excited.
Crazy, man. Ronaldo Bachman, all those guys. Damian Dotson, Kadeem Allen. Whatever it is, let's celebrate it. I think, now life won't be the same. I said to somebody before Game 4 that that game was going to determine the next 10 years of our happiness, and I think I might have undersold it. It might determine the rest of our lives, and it did.
Man.
So
you deserve this, bro. You're a great Knicks fan. By the way, did your buddy tell you that he bumped into me and J-Rod over at Borelli's?
He did. Mike Playa, great guy.
Yeah.
Shout out Mike Playa, amazing dude from Long Beach. But by the way, Borelli's, I tried to go there on the way back from the Hamptons one time, and it happened to be closed. It was like Labor Day or something. It was closed. I never got to enjoy it. But hey, I wanted to ask you, have you ever been to Cafe Bocce?
No.
That's I think off of Hempstead Turnpike. Check it out. It's an amazing restaurant. There's like Country Road, sorry. There's a whole strip of like amazing Italian restaurants in that area. Westbury.
That's a good one?
Yeah, Cafe Bocce. Amazing.
Cafe Bocce. How do we spell BAC apostrophe E, BAC apostrophe I?
I think it's
BACI. Okay, so it's not Bocce. So it's Bocce or Bocce?
Yeah, I think it's Bocce.
It's probably Bocce, C in the I. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Right.
So, man, I still can't believe this. It still hasn't really soaked in for me. And
it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
I can't wait to see our guys sitting courtside at Summer League. We got the 24th pick, 31-55. Like,
yeah, we got time for that. We're about the draft. Well, the only thing I care about the draft right now is I want to see my guy Zuby get drafted from St. John's and Dylan Mitchell get drafted at some point from St. John's. Right now, that's all I care about with the draft. Nothing else. I'm not even thinking about that, except I want to see Big Zub get rewarded for his great years at St. John's. And I absolutely believe Dylan Mitchell is going to be an NBA player too. So, hey, if maybe Zuby's going to be a Knick. I mean, he's right around that window. They're still debating whether or not the NBA, if they're going to invite him to the green room. He shot up the boards. Now, he's not going like top 15 or something, but, Zuby, let's say if they lose Diawara or you lose Mitch, like, not that he does the same things, but from a fit and a culture, you know, I mean, Zuby's not off the board for the Knicks. Trust me.
No, that'd be a really cool story, man. And my last point is, it's amazing coming off of this high from the Knicks and just all the elation and euphoria that we just dealt with. Getting back to these Yankees, which I'm excited about.
Yep.
It's honestly like the equivalent of watching paint roll down a wall. Like the level of the drop down and decline and excitement level from that versus what we just came off of is going to be a sharp contrast, my friend.
It is, but I'm going to find a way to regenerate because I love October baseball. But I hear you. I mean, it's different energy. I mean, this Knicks thing is all time, once in a lifetime stuff, literally for most of us here. But I will find a way because, you know, I even got pumped when Rice hit the 2-run shot the other day to you know, break it open a little bit. And then Cabby did his thing. So I hear you, but I'm sure you'll find a way to get into it, man. Enjoy it. Enjoy the parade. Have a blast, Benji. Congrats. Thanks for calling in.
Thanks, man. Make sure to join me for a game next season, man. Let's make it
It'll be
happen.
easier now that it's not like the finals of the conference like that. That's going to be much easier to rearrange. I've got more time. It's not during baseball. I got you. And I really appreciate the offer, which you made several times. Very generous, man. You deserve this, dude.
You got it, man. We're all Knicks Nation. We're all Knicks Nation. Let's
That's
do it.
right, brother. That's right. Knicks Nation in his house. You know, Jay, so he said he's going to be sitting there with what? A double Stella? What did he say?
I think so. A
Man,
double.
what are you going to do
sell.
if you got to take a leak here? I mean, what's going to happen?
Oh, at the
Maybe 3
parade.
million people.
I didn't even think about that, dude. I can't even drink. I'm
Dude,
like
at my age, that's like the first thing I think about.
Oh,
Not
my-
really.
I'm gonna
Not
need a-
fully yet, but
I'm gonna
I'm
need
like,
to.
I
I'm
gotta-
gonna need to attach a little bag. I'm gonna need to have like a little funnel in my undies.
oh, Jesus. We're a diaper. That's what some people do on New Year's Eve.
Gosh.
Yeah, we'll
Oh
call you-
gosh.
Hey,
That's
a new,
disgusting.
we got a new Dickie V diaper dandy. We got J-Rod. J-Rod on the street.
Oh
He's
my.
serendipitous, baby.
Yeah.
I don't understand how people do that. Like, I went to Times Square to see the ball drop once,
No
but I-
way, really?
but I was at a private party, so the whole
Okay,
street
it's
was
different.
blocked off. And it was almost like Mardi Gras, where we would walk out. You had to show the police the ticket. It was awesome. And then, like, you just come out, and the whole street was empty except if you were hanging out. And we then, like, we entered here, and then on the other side, like, if you come out of the bar and make a right, we were on the street right next to the ball. So we saw the ball drop, and it was just like me and my friends, like 20 of us, and then like pockets of other people, but total space, bathroom in the restaurant, multiple bathrooms. I don't know how you do it. If there's 3 million people tomorrow, you know, you can't just walk into Starbucks and use the, I mean, I don't know if they're going to let you.
I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna plan my route out perfectly. It's gonna be like the best route, like where can I stand, the best place where it's like I'm close to a public restroom and I've got like easy train access back here, so I'm not like absolutely stranded. And
Yeah, that sounds good. What's the best route? Okay. And then show up in Manhattan on Thursday, lower Manhattan, and then tell me how that plan goes. You
horribly.
better off bring a big Gatorade bottle or something.
Oh no, you're probably right. I cannot, like, I don't think it's hyperbole to say this will be one of the biggest gatherings in human existence.
I agree with
I
that.
just really don't. Like,
Yeah.
you know, New York's as populated as it's ever been.
Yep.
They didn't have ticker tape parades back in the day. This is much bigger than most concert venues, most festivals have ever been. I would say easily. It is going to be freaking nuts, man. I mean, I don't even know what it's. How are you going to even be able to see the players? Is my
I don't know. You probably won't. You're only 5'7".
And dude, me and Bada Booms, I'm gonna have to hop on his shoulders or something, bro. We're gonna have
Is he
to do
definitely
like
going?
he's
He's
definitely going.
I know
I mean, he's
Yeah.
definitely going.
I know Sal's not going,
Yeah.
but Booms is definitely going. You guys
Booms is
are coordinated.
100% going. Yep.
All right, you
So
got to
we'll
make
have
sure
to
you're
figure
with.
that
I want to
out.
pop him on the show. I want to hear him all nuts.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, then we've got to get that done. Because I think we'll get it done. I think I'm gonna stand more towards the lower side of the parade rather than near City Hall. Like, I don't
Good
need to
bet.
see the speeches and all that. Like, I'm gonna probably be towards the earlier, like the front.
That's
side.
actually pretty smart. Yeah, I mean, now granted, I had a media pass and it was easy, even though it wasn't easy getting there. But in 2009, when the Yankees won it, I told you we had a bunch of I guess they set up these scaffolds.
Mhm.
So like my old station was there, 1050. FAN was there, all the news outlets, radio stations, music, etc. So we were literally right in front of City Hall steps. And I mean, that's pretty wild. Like to see the mayor come out, keys to the city, Michael Kay, John Sterling, the players, Jay-Z was up there. You know, they were singing the song.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. But for your purposes, logistically, I think that's probably the prudent play.
Yep.
You know, we don't need J-Rod getting trampled trying to take one for the team here.
Definitely not. No, listen, that would be
although if it's good content, you know,
J-Rod gets trampled.
Oh my gosh.
That'd be a great thumbnail right there. A little AI image of me underneath just thousands of feet.
Yeah, but here's what worries me. I mean, I'm kind of kidding, but you know, listen, at Borelli's, some people recognized you from the show. At Yankee Stadium, people have now recognized you from the show. So now that you're getting recognized a little bit, people obviously know who you are, which also means that they know your story, which means that they know you're a Celtics fan. And I just hope, and I'm serious, I hope we don't get that Spurs fan treatment.
Oh, man. Well, listen, as long as I'm not rocking any JT or Jaylen Brown jerseys, I think I'll be good. I mean, could you imagine that?
No, of course not.
There's this one guy who I follow on Instagram, and he's just like, I don't even like this guy. Like, he's like a rabid Celtics fan, and he freaks out at everything, and he freaks out. Yeah. He like shaved his head bald when the Knicks won. Like, he's a freak.
I got you.
But he lives in New York. I guarantee this guy is going to be he's going to post a video from the parade in a Jason Tatum jersey or something.
Really?
And get absolutely rocked.
Well, hopefully nobody bothers him. I don't want to see that stuff, man.
Yeah, he's like a big instigator. Like that's like his kind of whole ordeal. So he's like a Celtics fan in New York, but he tries to poke the bear a lot. So
good luck with that.
It's going to be a rough day for that gentleman.
Oh man. I'm gonna say something I forgot. I'm trying to think. Do I save the Sorsby stuff for tomorrow? Because I don't want to shortchange it.
I mean, how much like? No. This is no. Wear a shirt that says "F them picks." That would be even worse than wearing a Knicks shirt. I think that would be
you
like.
Should wear an Unleashed shirt. Like you should. We don't have any. The merch
we don't.
Ready
I ain't got it yet.
I know.
I mean, what I could do, I listen. I could. I'm sure there is a place where I could do a quick press of a logo on a blank tee from Michaels. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, maybe I could do that. No, if anything, I'm just wearing something. I'm wearing blue. That's what you'll get out of me. I will wear a blue shirt, and that's how I will show a sense of camaraderie.
I don't know how these guys are still standing. I mean, think about the partying they've been doing. I know they're young.
The Mikal Bridges videos were some of my favorite that I've ever seen from an NBA player.
Especially from him.
Yeah.
That's what's so amazing. It's so like not what we ever see from him. It was great.
No, I mean,
one, man.
I was just like, you're drunk when you decide to 1, throw up the Instagram live.
Yep.
And 2, when you just start singing in the middle of it and like you're talking and then you just start singing in the middle of your sentence. Like that guy, I know he had the greatest nap of his life after that.
But then he had to get up for Fallon. So I was very curious how he was going to be, like what kind of shape he was going to be with Fallon, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have yet to see the clips from that, so I've got to watch it. Did you see OG though on the Today Show?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, he's living up to his name. He's the OG.
I mean, OG was in a trance, man. I don't know what he took. I mean, he was either exhausted or he was stoned out of his mind. I don't know which one.
Apparently, like he's not. I mean, he never hit me as this. Apparently, he's not a huge drinker. And like in the night before, he tried to like down the bottle of tequila or something.
What?
And almost threw up. Like and I could also see a world where that morning or before something, a more veteran Knicks player was like, yo, G, try this.
You think so?
And he does something and he's just like, I mean, I look at that image. They asked him a question and he literally stood there looking like the statue that Jalen Brunson's going to have outside.
And it wasn't
moved OG in that moment just outside of the garden and just kept him there in perpetuity.
But the best part about that is that it wasn't like he was, out of it for 2 seconds. And then he was like, oh, I'm sorry, what's that? He didn't move.
He didn't even blink, I don't think.
No, his teammates are like, what's going on with this guy? Maybe we gave him too much. You think they were all? I don't know, man.
No, I mean the Knicks. Listen, like you can have the Knicks players seem like a very drinker, clean cut,
Yes.
heavy cast of guys. In terms of the starting lineup, sort of dudes like Josh Hart, he's a wine guy. I don't know,
Yes.
Brunson. These guys don't seem like they're. I don't know how to describe. They
I know what
they
you're
don't
saying.
seem like they're Matt Barnes or Sean Kemp.
Or
anything
what about
like that.
Alvarado?
Oh, never mind. He's the one guy. Yes, he's a dude who grew up in Brooklyn, New York. He grew, 100%.
What about Mitch?
No, he's a
No.
Southern. I think he's a Southern man. I think he grew up far away from any. I think he's probably a big drinker. I could imagine Mitch Robinson with the backwards hat and a red Solo cup in his hand, bumping some country music.
All right.
Listen, in terms of, I think Jordan Clarkson could probably be a stoner kind of guy.
Yes,
I think
yes.
Jose Alvarado,
Yeah.
maybe, dude. I mean, what's his name was trashed. Huck Porty was trashed.
Oh
that
my
night,
God.
but
That's so awesome, dude.
yeah, I mean, it's one
can
of the
see-
best celebrations.
I can see Kolek.
Oh yeah,
have a
he's
little
one
fun.
of. Yeah, I mean, he's a young dude, and by the way he speaks, I can tell. Honestly,
Really?
He's had his hand in the ring just because it reminds me of all the dudes out in high school who would just who got into it a little early and were just yeah, bro.
Wow.
What a celebration, though.
It's just amazing.
What a
See,
great time.
I know, Jay. This part I didn't see. We thought you needed a coach that would pull you together. I did not see that part from James Dolan's speech. That I guess I saw a bit of an edited one, but it was still fairly lengthy. I wonder how that's got to hit Tom Thibodeau, man.
Wait, what did he say?
So it says, this is Dolan. We thought you needed a coach that would pull you together. That's got to crush Tom Thibodeau.
Oh man, why'd they have to air that? Oh, I mean,
that's got to crush him.
And listen, it's true. Mike Brown did his thing. Mike Brown absolutely galvanized this squad, made bench players really feel like they belonged on the team. There's no doubt about it. But man, to air that part of the speech too, like that, I don't even know if that does Mike Brown any good. Really, he knows it already. He knows that this team picked him. That's rough. That's just rough. I mean, listen, all things considered, great speech, and I think that's still a great part of the speech, no doubt.
Yep.
Just you didn't want to hear it. You didn't.
No, I feel badly for Tom Thibodeau. I didn't want Tom to get access to that. I mean, it's one thing if you're meeting with Tom Thibodeau. Hey, Tom, we respect you so much, and you're always a Knick and all that stuff, which I'm sure they said, but we just got to go in a different direction. We got to try something new, blah, blah, blah. All right, well, that's business. That happens. Those are the conversations that teams have with agents, and if they have a good relationship with the coach or the on-air talent or whatever job it might be, they're going to level with you, and you appreciate that as a human being. Like, that would be, I don't know, man. It's like, I don't know. It's not even close to being the same, obviously. But, I remember when things were finished up with me at the Fan, and I know it wasn't bullshit because I've known Chris Olivero forever, and I worked for him for 13 years. He's like, dude, I think you're terrific. He's like, it's just Craig's coming back. We've talked about this, right? And, I had to accept that, and I did, and it's all good. But, if there was a video of Chris Olivero that leaked, the day after or a month after they moved on from me and Sal, and listen, the station's good, but we needed something better than BT. Like that I would internalize that. Again, I know it's not apples to apples. I'm just trying to correlate it to my mind. Just on a very basic human level, like that's got to really sting, because he did the grunt work. He did the hard. Where is my scale of becoming good? Where did I jot that down? It's somewhere around here. Yeah. So he goes there. The Knicks are inept, and then they become slightly competitive, and then they become competitive, and then they become good, and then they become championship viable, all under his watch. The only step that they didn't take with him was to actually be a champion. Now, I don't think that we'd be sitting here talking about a Knicks championship if Tom Thibodeau is still the coach. I don't believe that. But doesn't mean you want to hear a great basketball man and a forever Knick hear that. And I know it wasn't Dolan's intention. Like, you're addressing the team. It's, you're talking about this a couple of months ago when things weren't going well. You're not really thinking how it's going to hit the coach that you moved on from. But there's always collateral damage emotionally. How do you think Buck Showalter is an older one, but you don't think Buck Showalter was crushed when the Yankees won the World Series back in '96 when Joe Torre comes in, and that blueprint that was established by Buck Showalter of accountability, bridging the gap from the horrendous Stump Merrill seasons and, a culture shift and much more buttoned up in professionalism. And then they lose the wild card in '95 in gut-wrenching walk-off fashion when they win the first two, and then they get swept 3 straight in the Kingdom to Seattle, when Griffey scores on that double by Edgar. And then Joe wins, and then Joe wins again, and then Joe wins again, and Joe wins again. I don't care how happy you are for the guys that you coached. And I have no doubt that Tom Thibodeau, I can't prove this, but I would really believe that Tom is genuinely happy for Jalen and genuinely happy for Josh Hart. Maybe he's not as happy for Cat and Bridges, because those were the two rumored to be, very vocal about in the player exit meetings at the end of the season. And that's part of the reason, at least many believe, that was the impetus behind Dolan deciding we need to change. Let the players speak. He gave them that latitude, and he didn't just ignore it. And to Dolan's credit, it worked. But, there's probably a different level of appreciation for the Brunsons and Harts. And I'm sure if DiVincenzo was still here, he'd be thrilled. I'm sure he's happy for Mitch. I'm sure he's happy for Deuce. And the other guys, it's probably a little bittersweet. So, Jay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually save the Sorsby stuff for tomorrow. It's just too much. I don't want to change it. It's a massive NFL story. He's going into the supplemental draft. I actually thought that there was zero chance that anybody puts in a first-round bid. I got a lot of stuff here. That's why I don't want to just kind of steamroll through it.
For sure.
I think that might change. And I've got I've got 8 teams on this list that, varying degrees of interest. Should they be interested? Will they be interested? I want to talk a lot of quarterbacks tomorrow. I know you guys will dig that. So in the meantime, keep enjoying the championship. Been amazing. It's still surreal. Thursday is going to be absolutely insane. And we keep plowing ahead. Yankees back to work tonight. Looking forward to watching that. Lombard's hitting a little bit in the minors, so you got to see what's going on with him. Legrand, nice transition to the pen. The Yankees have what did I see this week? The Yankees are a game. I think they're a game and a half up on the Rays now. It's the first time they've been either up by more than a game since May 5th. So without Judge, I'm not saying it always looks pretty, but the Yankees are showing, and I'll talk about this more tomorrow as well, are showing some real resolve. I mean, think about the injuries, and obviously just Judge. It's not just Judge. You've got nothing from the catcher. Judge is gone, and who knows when he comes back. Center fielder's out, and he didn't hit for the first month and a half or 2 months anyway. Max Fried's been out for a minute. Obviously, Garrett Cole started the year on the IL. I mean, Rodon started the year on the IL. Volpe, not that he's doing much, but not healthy. I mean, the Yankees have been absolutely smashed with injuries, and this Knicks story has taken over, rightfully so much of the energy and so much of the content. But I am very, very happy of what I'm seeing from the Yankees lately. So we'll do a little baseball tomorrow as well. Want to wish everybody an outstanding rest of your day. Appreciate you guys hopping in. Appreciate you guys tapping in. I'm going to tap out now. Like it, subscribe it, get it out there, share it, let everybody know, where you consume and what you consume. And J-Rod's going to be at the parade on Thursday, so we'll get some special correspondence from him. And hopefully by today, and I would imagine certainly by tomorrow, me and Sal will figure out the logistics of how we're going to do this. It very well might be, hey, he's on my channel for 45 minutes and I'm on his for 45. Because I looked into this so much, Jay, you can't do it where, I would never even say, oh, Sal, come on my show for an hour and screw your show. And he would never say, somebody's got to get credit for the views,
Yeah, exactly.
We want to do the right thing for each other, and we want to hang out, and we want to celebrate the Knicks championship. So I think it will probably be a bit of a split thing, where we do maybe 45 and then literally take a minute break and then just log back in under a different StreamYard thing, blah, blah, blah. And we just keep, shooting the breeze there. But hopefully have an update today, and that'll be a lot of fun. Booms will hop in. This lunatic will hop in. We'll have a little fun. So everybody have Hey, let me get the one shot. We gotta give Pat some love, the big fella. Patrick Ewing. Have a great Tuesday. I will catch you guys tomorrow at 10. And hey, man, party rolls on. We'll see you. Bye-bye.
This is Unleash. Are you listening? Can you hear me? This is Unleash. Are you listening? Can you hear me? This is Unleash. Are you listening? Can you hear me? This is Unleash. Are you listening? Can you hear me?
With your host, Brandon